Hare Krishna. So we'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. We are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 4 and we'll be discussing this 6th chapter today. So in this 4th canto, we discussed how Maitreya Muni is one of the sages who is describing the family of Swayambhuva Manu. So Swayambhuva Manu, he had 3 daughters and 2 sons, Akuti, Prasuti and Devahuti, and 2 sons. 3 daughters and 2 sons. 2 sons are Priyavrat and Uttanpad. So in the 3rd canto, he described the dynasty of Devahuti, the family of Devahuti, how she was married to Kardamuni. And then in this 4th canto, he described about the family of remaining daughters of Swayambhuva Manu. And in course of describing the family of Prasuti, he said that Prasuti had 16 daughters and all of them were married, and they were married to different sages. And the youngest one was Sati, and she was married to Lord Shiva. But there was some argument and misunderstanding between Shiva and Daksha. And because of that, Sati gave up her life. So that led to a question in the mind of Vidurji. Vidurji is hearing. So Vidur asked, well, Shiva is Charachar Guru. He is the master of everyone. And he is very, very humble, gentle personality. And Daksha is Duhitra Vatsala. Duhitra means daughter. He is very affectionate to his daughter. How come he behaved in a way that led to Sati giving up her life? So then the entire story was being described how one time Daksha, he organized a big sacrifice, and Shiva was also there. As Daksha entered, Shivji didn't get up because he was absorbed in meditation. Daksha became very angry. He criticized and insulted Lord Shiva, and as a result, there was cursing and counter cursing, and ultimately Lord Shiva left. Then after many thousands of years, Daksha, he arranged another sacrifice, and he didn't call Lord Shiva. So naturally, Sati, she was curious to go and attend the festival, the ceremony, sacrificial ceremony there. Lord Shiva told her, don't go. You'll be insulted. You'll not be able to, tolerate the pain of harsh words. She didn't listen. She goes, and ultimately she gives up her life. And then the news is given to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva becomes very angry, sends this personality Veerbhadra, as you can see in this picture. He goes and kills everyone. And he beheads Daksha. So that's what we discussed in 5 chapters. So now in the 6th chapter, which is entitled Brahma Satisfies Lord Shiva. So in the 3rd canto, we have heard Kapil Dev, he describes there are three types of devotees. There is mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Somebody can practice bhakti also in these modes. Bhakti is always pure, but a person who is practicing is in different modes. A person in the mode of goodness practicing bhakti, person in the mode of passion and ignorance. So Daksha was a personality who was practicing bhakti in the mode of ignorance. What is the characteristic of such person? He always wants to prove himself better, and he is ready to criticize and insult others and even kill others. That was Daksha. And then Dhruva, story of Dhruva will come, in the further chapters. That personality is a person who is practicing bhakti in the mode of passion. Many times people, they practice bhakti, but they want something, Sukha sampati ghare aave, kashtamite tanaka. So that is bhakti in the mode of passion. I want something. And then bhakti in the mode of goodness. I just want to know the Supreme Lord. And of course, in transcendence, there is bhakti in transcendence, so pure bhakti. So this Daksha is a personality who is in the mode of ignorance and practicing bhakti also. So in this sixth chapter, what will happen is now Daksha is dead. All the sages, there are many sages who are, wounded by the soldiers of Lord Shiva. Many devatas were killed. They were disfigured. Somebody's mustache was, cut. Somebody's eyes were plucked out. Somebody's tongue was cut. Many things happened. So they all went to Brahmaji and they told that this is what has happened. And actually, Brahma and Vishnu, they didn't go to this sacrifice because they knew aisa hone wala hai. Because Vishnu is omniscient, he knows everything. He knows past, present, and future. So therefore, he didn't go. And Brahmaji also didn't go. So when all the sages and devatas, they go to Brahma, so Brahmaji, he starts speaking to devatas. So we'll recite this verse. Tadakarnya vibhupraha तेजीयसी कृतागसी क्षेमाय तत्र सा भूयान् न प्रायेण बुभूषताम्. Tad akarnya, Brahmaji heard everything. Whatever the devatas were saying, he heard everything. And then he replied, Vibhu praha. Praha means he replied. He says, Tejiyasi kritagasi. You have blasphemed and insulted a great personality. Tejiyasi means a great personality. Kritagasi means you have offended him. And therefore, Shemaya Tatra Sa Bhuyan, you cannot be happy in executing this sacrifice. Anybody, if he offends a great personality, he can never be happy. Ayu Shriyo Yasho Dharma Lokan Ashisha Evacha Hanti Shreyamsi Sarvani Pumso Mahad Atikramaha. Whenever a great personality is offended, there are many things which this personality loses. His Ayu goes down, his wealth goes down, his Ayu, Shriyo, Yasha, his fame goes down, and his dharmic principles are destroyed. Lokan Ashish, he loses all the auspiciousness in his life. Pumso Mahat Atikrama, when you blaspheme a great personality. So therefore he is saying you cannot be happy because you have blasphemed and insulted a great personality, because they didn't do so personally, but they didn't object when Daksha was doing so. That is a very important point. We may not do so directly, but if we are silently witnessing something, then we become a part of it. And of course, some of the devatas, they were also smiling and giving some looks when Lord Shiva was insulted. Some sages were also like that. So he says, because you have offended a great personality, na praye na bubhushatam. Therefore, if you desire to live happily, it is better you do not live. Because if you live, after insulting Lord Shiva, you will be punished. So that's the first thing he says. And of course, later he'll say what to do. So, tad akarnya, when somebody comes with an appeal, we should hear. It happens in many times in our lives. Somebody comes and tells their problems, and we know ki aisa iska problem. I know the answer, and you start giving the answer, suggestions. But it happens when you go to a doctor. Even before telling, if doctor says, ye likh diya prescription jao leke, So what patient says, suna hi nahi wo mera. He doesn't listen to me at all. He just wrote the prescription. So therefore, tad akarnya is very important. When somebody comes with an appeal, we should first hear that person properly. Hearing solves the problem, very nicely. Many times it is very difficult to hear. People in this world, they want to talk about, what they know. Just hearing is a rare thing now. Sunna, बहुत difficult. So Srila Prabhupada says that Brahma explained to Devatas that although Daksha wanted to enjoy the results of sacrifice, it was not possible. Because when one offends a great personality, then for sure calamity will come. It is not possible to live happily after offending a great personality. And therefore, then he says, better you die. But of course, you all want to live. So what you should do? Please go and ask forgiveness from Lord Shiva. And Brahma knew that Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. Ashutosh means one who becomes easily forgives and becomes very happy if you ask forgiveness. That's how devotees are. They can forgive and forget. They should be like that. That's what we should practice. We should learn to forgive and forget. We may forgive, but we may not forget. So it is very important. It is actually not for others. It is more about ourselves. When we don't forget, it is like holding a burning coal in our hand. We keep burning ourselves. So therefore it is said we should learn to forgive and forget. And all the scriptures in Bhagavatam, there are so many characters who have displayed by their example how they forgave. Any examples?
Ambarish Maharaj.
Ambarish Maharaj. Durvasa wanted to kill him. Prahlad Maharaj, he didn't even do anything. He asked, oh my Lord, please forgive my father. Dhruv Maharaj, his stepmother, he was feeling when Lord told him that, okay, your stepmother will be burnt in fire. And he was thinking, oh, this is not good. Because of me, she has to go through so much. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, if you want to live, then please go and ask forgiveness from Lord Shiva. And he says, it is simple. You don't have to do any gymnastics. You don't have to give a big gift to Lord Shiva so that he'll forgive. Just go and grasp his lotus feet. That's the simplest way. Lord Shiva will be happy. He'll be pleased. I know his mind. Brahma is saying, I know his mind. He is Ashutosh. So therefore, now Lord Shiva is angry. And he says because of two reasons he is angry. First, because he has lost his wife. And because Daksha, he had spoken such harsh words. It is human to be pained, however big a personality may be. But when harsh words are spoken, it is very difficult to tolerate. And on top of that, when it comes from a near one, a relative whom we love, that is very difficult. What to speak of that? Even Lord felt pained when somebody was speaking harsh words. Anyone knows? It comes in third canto when Hiranyaksha was speaking harsh insults for Varahadev, he also felt pained. So Varahadev is the Supreme Lord.
Krishna and Shishupal also.
Yeah, Shishupal also, yes. So it is natural to be pained. Vidurji was also affected when Duryodhan, he spoke so many harsh words. Who has kept this son of the kept mistress? Throw him out of the palace and leave him only with the breath. Swayam dhanurdvari nidhaya mayam bhratu puramar masutaditopi saitham atyulban karna banair gatavyatho yat urumanayanah. Itham karna banair. It was as if burning hot, red hot arrows were entering the ears. But the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee, a spiritualist and materialist is, a materialist, he gets depressed and he starts blaming situations, blaming God. But a devotee, he is grateful to God. He is grateful to Krishna for whatever is happening in his life because he knows there must be a higher plan. So therefore, he is saying now Shiva is not so happy. He is very sad because he has lost his wife and he is pained by the harsh words of Daksha. So please go and beg pardon from him. Devotees, they are very easily, they can forgive very easily. And Srila Prabhupada, he writes in one of the purports, there are examples of devotees like Haridas Thakur and Jesus Christ. And Prabhupada writes Jesus Christ also. Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces. And all the while, he was praying to the Lord, please forgive them. So that is a devotee. So the Devatas, when they hear this, they say, please tell us some way how to do this. How to ask forgiveness from Lord Shiva. Lord, now Brahma says, he tells the power of Lord Shiva. Naham na yagyo na chayuya manye na deha bhajo munayascha tattvam vidu pramanam balavirya yorva yasyatma tantrasya ka upayam viditset. So he says, na aham, not even I, not you, nor all the sages, nobody knows the power of Lord Shiva. Nobody knows how powerful he is. So we should understand he is completely independent. Atma Tantrasya, he is not under control of anyone. Who can dare to offend him? So it is not a easy and a simple thing to offend Lord Shiva. You all have done a very, very grave mistake. It is not a simple mistake. So Prabhupada writes, the position of subordinate is always to surrender to the Supreme. So Brahmaji, he is telling, please go and surrender to Lord Shiva. And Prabhupada says, the best personality to surrender in this world is Krishna. That's what he says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. This word surrender is so very, scary. Nobody wants to surrender. When we see in the movie, surrender matlab haath upar karke, you are now at the mercy of the police, right? That's why surrender is scary. But when it comes to spiritual realizations, Krishna conscious, surrender is the most blissful thing. It is like a small child surrendering to his mother. It is a very common scene if you have traveled in local trains sometimes in the peak hours. A small lady may come with a small child and he's sleeping on the lap of his mother. Aram se, aur bichari maa pura, she's taking care how to protect the child. Because the child has surrendered, he's fearless. So surrender brings fearlessness when you surrender to right person. That's why Krishna says, na, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami mashucha. Don't fear, O Arjun. So therefore, Prabhupada writes that Krishna, if you surrender to Krishna, you'll be fearless. One time, Prabhupada, somebody asked him, Swamiji, how do you feel when you chant Hare Krishna? Prabhupada said, I feel fearless. Because I know Krishna is there to protect me. Mare Krishna Rake Krishna Mare ke. If Krishna wants to kill, who can protect? And if Krishna wants to protect, who can kill? So therefore, Brahma, he is told, please go and ask forgiveness from Lord Shiva. All the devatas headed by Brahmaji, Brahma himself comes. On all the devatas and Gandharvas and all the Prajapatis, they all go to Kailash to ask forgiveness from Lord Shiva. So now the Bhagavatam describes beautiful description of Kailash. Kailash is not this Kailash which we see now. This is the Kailash in the greater Himalayas. This Bhumandal, it is described in the 5th canto. Our Prithvi is a part of the greater Bharatvarsha. Bharatvarshe, Bharatkhande, वो संकल्प लेते हैं ना, जम्बू द्वीपे भारतवर्षे भारतखंडे. So that is that Bharatvarsha. That Bharatvarsha also has a Himalaya. So in that there is a Kailash. So this Kailash was full of different types of herbs and vegetations. It was a very, very wonderful atmosphere, very pleasing. All the different types of birds, trees, flowers, fruits. From 9th to 22, I think around 12 verses describes the Kailash. There are various 20 names of different flowers of Kailash, different animals which are there in Kailash, and different he says they are observing all this. And there is a mention of pious trees and impious trees. So what are the pious trees? The pious trees are those who bear flowers and fruits. And those who don't have flowers and fruits, they are impious. So according to this definition, most of the trees which are planted in the cities, they are all impious. They are just decorative plants. So somebody may say, but well, there are some trees like banyan, उसमें भी ज़्यादा फल तो आते नहीं है. People, and there are some trees, they don't have flowers and fruits. But piety and impiety depends on one's contribution to the society. They contribute to the society. Actually, when Krishna was in Vrindavan with all the cowherd friends, and he tells to all his friends, Toka Krishna, Subala, and many friends. So he says, just see, these trees are so fortunate. Trees are considered to be most, cursed species. They can't move around. They are cursed to stand at one place because of some past sinful activity. They have got this body. But Krishna is saying they are most fortunate. Pashyaitan mahabhagan pararthaikant jivitan vata varshatapahiman sahanto varayantina. They are living only for the welfare of others. They tolerate everything. Vata, varsha, tap, himan. And they are giving so much to the society. Mool, valkal, darubhi. What's that? They give flowers, fruits, wood, sap, everything, bark. So that's how trees are pious. So he describes various types of trees and animals, and then he says in that Kailash there is a river Alaknanda. Alaknanda is Ganga, and because Ganga flows from the Jata of Lord Shiva, so that Ganga is surrounding this Kailash hill. And Sati used to take bath in Ganga. And when these devatas, they saw the beauty of Kailash, they were really struck with wonder. Because they were used to, roaming around in Nandan Kanan gardens in heaven, heavenly gardens. But the beauty of this Kailash was even greater than Nandan Kanan. So then he describes what was there in Alka region, the place where Alakananda is flowing. Nanda cha Alakananda cha Sarito bahyatah puraha Tirthapad Padambhoja Rajasativa Pavane. So outside the city, there were two rivers, Nanda and Alakananda. And these rivers are sanctified by the touch of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Because what is Ganga basically? Ganga is the foot wash of Lord Shiva. When Vamanadev, he stretched his leg, it created a hole in the covering of the universe. And inside, all the waters of this Karan ocean started flowing inside. And that washed the foot of Lord Vamanadev. That is Ganga. Yavailasa Shri Tulasi Vimishra Krishnangri Renu Abhyadikam Bunetri Punati lokan ubhayatra sheshan kastam na seveta marishyamana. This comes in the first canto. So that Ganga is mixed with two things: dust particles from the lotus feet of Krishna and tulsi leaves which are offered at the lotus feet of Krishna. And anyone who wants to cross this ocean should take shelter of Ganga. That's why we go to take shelter and take bath in Ganga also. Ordinary people, outsiders, materialists, they go to purify themselves of papa. But we don't go to take bath to purify ourselves of papa. We go to get pure devotion from Ganga. So Tirthapad, the word is Tirthapad. Prabhupada says, another significant point is that Govinda is described as Tirthapad. Tirthapad means the place from where Tirtha is created. Ganga takes birth from the lotus feet of Krishna. So it is a very, very interesting thing that Prabhupada writes. Tirthapad means lotus feet of Krishna, and the devotees of the Lord are also Tirthapad. Because wherever devotees go, because they have Krishna in their hearts, they also create pilgrimage places. Tirtha bhuta bhavad vidha bhagavata tirtha bhuta swayam vibho tirthi kurvanti tirthani. People, they go to pilgrimage to take bath in rivers, take darshan and come back. That is not the purpose of pilgrimage. Pilgrimage should be done to hear from the devotees about that place. That is pilgrimage. Otherwise it is just a sightseeing. हम लोग कुल्लू मनाली जा रहे हैं, ये भी जा रहे हैं, थोड़ा एक बार वृंदावन ही जाके आते हैं, घूम के आते हैं. It is not the purpose. Purpose is to hear. When you hear from devotees. When Ganga appeared in this world, Bhagirath, he did tapasya. He wanted to deliver his ancestors. So Ganga Devi appeared and he said, please ask for benediction. He said, please, you have to come to deliver my ancestors. She said, okay, but there are two problems. Who will sustain my force? When I descend from heaven, who will bear the force? Otherwise, I'll pierce and go into the Patal Loka. And when I'll appear, people of Kali Yuga, they will take bath in me, they'll dump their sins in me. How will I get purified? मुझे कौन शुद्ध करेगा? So Bhagirath says that is not a big thing. Lord Shiva will take care of the force. And how you will get purified? Sadhavo nyasina shanta brahmishta lokapavana haranti aghamte angasanga teshu aste agabhid harihi. Sadhavo, those devotees who are brahmanishta, who are devoted to Krishna, shanta, peaceful, lokapavana, they purify the whole universe. They will come, they will take bath and they will purify you. That is the power of devotees of Krishna. So we should not think, chalo hum Ganga ko pavitra karke aate hain. Devotee never feels like that. But the pure devotees, they purify even the places of pilgrimage. Actually, so Teshu aste agabhid hari. So there is the question which may come that, well, devotees will purify you, but who will purify the devotees then? How devotees get purified? Teshu aste agabhid hari, because they have Krishna in their heart. Krishna purifies them. In Brahma Vaivarta Puran, there is a conversation between Ganga Devi and Krishna. Just before Krishna left this planet, there is a Goloka Arohan chapter, one of the last chapters. So in that, Ganga Devi comes and she is asking Krishna, He Nath Ramana Sreshta Yasi Golokamuttamam Asmakam Chagatischatra Bhavishyati Kala Yuge. Oh Krishna, now you are going to spiritual world. अरे कलयुग में मेरा क्या होगा? People will come, they'll dump their sins in me. How will I get purified? So he says, Lord says, don't worry. Kale pancha sahasrani tishtati tava bhutale. You stay in Kali Yuga for 5,000 years. 5,000 years have passed by. Now, Ganga is very soon about to disappear. According to the prediction of Krishna, Lord Krishna says, you stay in Kali Yuga for 5,000 years. People will come and take bath in you. Don't worry about that. My mantra upasak will come. Mantra upasak sparshat bhasmi bhutani takshanat. Bhavishyanti darshanacha snanadev Janvi. Oh Janvi, Janvi is Ganga. Lord is telling, don't worry. Mantra upasak. My devotee who will worship me by mantra, he will come. He will bring devotees and they will take bath in you. They will purify you. That is the power of devotees. So Prabhupada writes, whenever water or anything touches lotus feet of Krishna, it is purified. So that's how all these devatas, they are seeing the beauty. And there they see this beautiful river, and all the devatas, their wives, they would take bath in this river, Nanda, Alakananda, and they'll get rejuvenated. And many times, human bodies and celestial bodies are different. When all the celestial ladies, they take bath in that river, the water of the rivers become fragrant. So that is the description given. And when the elephants would come and they would take bath in these rivers, even though they were not thirsty, they would drink that water. मतलब ऐसा है ना, अभी अच्छा सामने अच्छा डिश है तो भूख नहीं भी लगा है, थोड़ा खा लेते हैं, you know. So that is the description given. So then they saw that Alka was full of various beautiful airplanes of the devatas. Yeah, all the Kuvera, you know, the Kuver, the Ravana ka jo bhai, Kuvera, is a treasurer. So he has his abode in Kailash. He also stays there. Many devatas stay there. And everyone has their personal plane, personal chartered plane sabke paas hai. And they move around with beautiful wives. And it's said that the beautiful wives, they are, compared to lightning. And the airplanes, they are like sky. And the denizens, all the devatas, they have blackish complexion. They are like clouds. So, wonderful description is given. So now, as they are traveling, the devatas, they saw there is a beautiful forest called Saugandhika. And this Saugandhika means it is full of various beautiful fragrant flowers called Saugandhi. And this entire forest was full of beautiful birds. They were chirping, they were, singing nice music. So that is what is described. And then it is said that all this atmosphere creates a disturbance, agitation in the minds of all these devatas, and they enjoy there. All the wives and the devatas, they enjoy there. Prabhupada writes, whenever there is nice atmosphere in the material world, there is awakening of sexual appetite. But in the spiritual world, it is not like that. In Vaikuntha, in the third canto, there is a description. In Vaikuntha also similar atmosphere is there. All the Vaikuntha-vasis, they are beautiful. Their, wives are also beautiful. There is no brahmachari ashram there, they are all married people. Vaimanika salalana charitani shashvat gayanti yatta shamalam shapanani bharatu antarajalenu vikasan madhumadhavinam gandhena khandita dhiyah apyanilam shipantah. So what is happening in Vaikuntha? Vaimanika, they have their planes, Salalana, along with their wives. What they are doing? Charitani Shashwat Gayanti. They are singing the glories of Krishna. Although they are moving around, and that place is full of fragrant wind, full of lotus flowers, pura ekdam romantic atmosphere, but still they're not disturbed, agitated. That's the difference between material, beauty and the spiritual world. So all these devatas, they are seeing this. And then they saw Lord Shiva. There was beautiful bathing ghat. It was made up of Vaidurya gems. It was not made up of brick and stones and cement. It was made up of Vaidurya gems, diamonds, pearls, rubies, lapis lazuli. All these descriptions are given there. Vaikuntha में भी ऐसा ही है, शिव जी के abode में भी ऐसा ही है. So they saw Lord Shiva sitting under a huge banyan tree, as you can see in this picture. And our BBT artists, they have painted wonderful picture according to the description given in scriptures. आजकल तो कोई भी अपने हिसाब से कुछ भी बनाता है. अभी गणपति आ रहा है, क्या क्या बनाते हैं गणपति को लोग. One time a devotee painted a picture of Krishna, painted a picture of a forest, and he thought Krishna must be there, right? So he painted Krishna also. So then he came to Prabhupada to endorse to, Prabhupada, I have painted a picture. Prabhupada said, which verse? Prabhupada said, Krishna in Vrindavan. So this devotee said, Prabhupada, Krishna in Vrindavan. Where it is mentioned? Prabhupada, Krishna is unlimited, but you are limited. Stick to the verse. So this description, beautiful, exactly. It is described Lord Shiva is under a huge banyan tree. How big is that banyan tree? 100 yojanas high. 1 yojan is 8 miles. So it is like 1200 kilometers high banyan tree. And the branches are extending to 75 yojans. Such a huge tree. When outsiders they hear kuch bhi likha hai. How is it possible?
It's a metaphor or something.
That's why people they can't accept this because we are limited to our world perception. So there are realities we have heard in the scriptures. And this such a huge tree, but there is not a single nest. So it was all silent. There was no chirping of the birds. And there they saw Lord Shiva sitting. Tasmin Mahayogamaye
तस्मै महायोगाय
Mumukshu Sharane Suraha
मुक्षु शरणेश्वरः
Tadrishu Shivamasinam
ददृशु शिवमासीनं
Tyattamarshamivantakam.
यत्तामर्षमिवान्तिकम्
Tasmin, there. That tree, that banyan tree was so powerful. Anybody who does meditation under that banyan tree, the tree awards perfection. All the mystic perfections are awarded by the tree itself. The tree is also Kalpataru there. Mumukshu Sharane, anyone who wants liberation, they take shelter of this tree. And Dadrishu means they saw. They saw Lord Shiva, Asinam, sitting under that tree. Tyakta Amarsham. Amarsha means anger. He was sitting peacefully as if he had given up his anger. Ivantakam, he appeared as grave as eternal time. So gravity, whenever something is described about the Lord or Lord Shiva or Lord Krishna, about the devotees, they are described as grave people. Their voice is very grave. It is described, Megha Nirhradaya Vacha. When Krishna spoke, it was like a rumbling of the clouds. So Lord Shiva was also like that. So he was very grave. Gravity means you can't understand what is going on in the mind of this person. देख के नहीं समझता है. Time is also very grave. Why? Because nobody can understand what is coming next. That's how time is grave. And Krishna says, Sarvam Kala Kritam Manye Bhavatam. Bhishma is telling in the first canto to all the Pandavas. He tells, you had everything. You had best morality in the form of Yudhishthir Maharaj. You had best power in the form of Bhima. You had skill in the form of Arjuna. On top of that, you had Krishna. Still, you had so many problems. How to understand this? Yatra dharmasuto raja, gadapani vrikodara, krishnostri gandivam chapam, suhrit Krishna, tato vipat. फिर भी विपत्ति आ रही. क्यों? Sarvam kala kritam. It is all the inconceivable time. What is this time factor? He says, this personality is standing in front of you. Don't think he's your maternal cousin. He's pointing to Krishna. He's the Supreme Lord. He is the time factor. So whatever Lord does is inconceivable. So now Lord Shiva, he was sitting there and he was surrounded by very, very interesting personalities. He was surrounded by Kuvera. He was surrounded by 4 Kumaras. He was surrounded by Narad Muni, as you can see in this picture also. So he was there with, you can understand who is this person according to the association, the company. Shivji ke paas mein Kumar, 4 Kumaras will go to whom? They are completely detached. They will not go to a materialistic person. That means Lord Shiva is completely detached. And on top of that, who is there? Kuvera is there. He is the richest person. अभी कुमार भी बैठे हैं और कुबेर भी बैठे हैं. You know, that shows the position of Lord Shiva. He is the perfection of detachment and opulence. सब कुछ है उनके पास, but he doesn't display it. He is completely detached. There is a story, there's a Lok Katha when Lord Shiva got married to Parvati and Lord Shiva gave a क्या बोलते हैं, reception. He called all the sages and everybody came, and in the end he was giving charity to everyone. And just before that, Parvati told, at least make a house for us. You are sitting under a tree. Where will I stay? So he made a beautiful house. And he called for housewarming ceremony also. सबको दान दे रहे हैं, At the end, one sage was remaining and nothing was there. How come nothing was there? That is a leela. So Lord Shiva gave his own house to that sage. And he was again under the tree. So that's how Lord Shiva is detached. So Prabhupada writes, Lord Shiva's association with Kumaras and Kuvera indicates he has all the transcendental and material opulence also. सब कुछ है उनके पास. Okay, next. Vidya tapo yoga patham आस्थितं तम अधीश्वरम चरंतम विश्वसुहृदम वात्सल्य लोकमंगलम. Now the Devtas, they saw Lord Shiva. He was situated in Vidya, Tapa, Yoga, Patham. He was perfect in Vidya, knowledge, Tapa, austerity, and Yoga Patha, and the path of perfection. He was perfect in all that. And Vishwa Suhrida, he is the master of entire universe and well-wisher of entire universe. Vishwa Surida. Vatsalya, he is full of affection for everyone. He is Lokamangala. What is the meaning of Shankara? Shankar. Sham karoti iti Shankar. Sham means auspiciousness. That personality who brings auspiciousness in the lives of everyone. That is Shankar. Shankaroti iti Shankar. So Prabhupada focuses on this word, Vidya Tapo Yoga. So Shiva is full of wisdom, tapasya, and austerity. These are very important to practice spiritual life. Vidya, tapasya. We have to get knowledge. That's what we are doing. Hearing Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and some tapasya is needed. What is our tapasya? Following principles, 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit affairs, and some fasting on Ekadashi and then Janmashtami and all the festival days. That is a tapasya. Chanting to सबसे बड़ी तपस्या है.
It's a yajna.
Yajna. Yes, yajnanam japa yajñosmi. It is the yajna. Yes, for sadhakas it is a big tapasya. 16 माला हो गया बस, कल तक देखने का जरूरत नहीं फीडबैक को. So Lord is described as Adhishwara also. Asitam tam Adhishwara. Adhishwara means controller. And Prabhupada writes, generally, our contaminated senses are apt to engage in sense gratificatory activities. We try to enjoy. Our senses, they are dragged towards sense gratificatory objects, even if we don't want. But the more we practice austerity, the more they get purified. And we don't have to engage in artificial austerities. कि जरूरत से ज्यादा तपस्या करने की जरूरत नहीं है. One time, one devotee was in Vrindavan with Prabhupada, and they were on a morning walk, and he was not wearing slippers. Prabhupada said, "Why are you not wearing slippers?" Prabhupada, this is Vrindavan. Krishna didn't wear slippers. Prabhupada said, there is already enough austerity in the world. Don't add, Our austerity is follow regulative principles, and try to chant 16 rounds attentively, serve devotees. That is more than enough austerity. So Lord Shiva, he is teaching the whole world. That's why he is called as, Vatsalya Lokamangalam. So then, Lord Shiva, he was speaking to Narada also. And when Narad Muni and Lord Shiva are speaking, what will they speak? And Prabhupada gives a simple analogy. When two businessmen meet, what they'll discuss? Ah, chanting nahi hua. Aisa discuss karenge, you know. They'll discuss about business. When two people in share market they meet, they'll discuss about share market. When two devotees meet, what they'll discuss? So when Narad is the greatest devotee, Lord Shiva is Vaishnavanaya Mataya Shambhu, what they must be discussing? They must be discussing Krishna Katha. So Prabhupada writes, Narad Muni and Lord Shiva were discussing about devotional service. And Lord Shiva is instructing Narad Muni. As you can see in this picture, Narad Muni sitting down and Lord Shiva is instructing him. And subject matter is devotional service. So then they saw Lord Shiva sitting in Virasan. What is this Virasan? Exact description is there. Left leg was there on his right thigh. Left hand was placed on his left thigh. Right hand was holding a Rudraksha bead. And he had this Tarka Mudra, Tarka, right, Tarka Mudra. Tarka Mudra means when you instruct someone, So as you can see, very nicely painted. And he was sitting in Virasan. So that's how it is described there. And then all the Devatas, they came along with Brahmaji, they offered their respects to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva was dressed in saffron garments, it is described. And he was absorbed in trance, meditation on the Supreme Lord, Brahma Nirvana. So Prabhupada writes, Lord Shiva is Manunam Adyam. He's the chief of all thinkers. So what he is thinking? Lord Shiva, being a greatest Vaishnava, he is always thinking about the welfare of other living entities. And that's why he appears as Advaitacharya. Advaitacharya, he was having just one problem. He was thinking, how will the people of this world get delivered? कैसे होगा उद्धार इन लोगों का? They are just so engrossed in sense gratification. That's why he prayed and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So now, when Lord Shiva sees all these personalities, he sees Brahmaji also. He gets up. Although Lord Shiva is more exalted than Brahma, but why he gets up? Because Brahma is his father. That's how Lord Shiva appears in this world. From middle of the eyebrows. Third canto we heard Brahma created 4 Kumaras and he told them procreate. 4 Kumaras hum to brahmachari ban rahe hain. We will not get married. So Lord Shiva becomes angry and he tried to control the anger, but it came out as Rudra. So he got up and he offered respects, and Brahmaji, he was fearful from inside because he was thinking, if Lord Shiva becomes angry, he may curse and he may destroy all the devatas also. But still externally he smiled and he clarifies his position. He started glorifying Lord Shiva and then he requests something. Brahma uvacha Jane Twamisham Vishwasya Jagato Yoni Bijayoh Shakte Shivasya Chaparam Yattad Brahma Nirantaram. So now Brahma is glorifying Lord Shiva in the mood of Shaivites. For Shaivites, Lord Shiva is supreme. So Brahma is telling Lord Shiva, you are the supreme. So it should not create any confusion in the minds of devotees. ये क्या बोल रहे हैं ब्रह्मा जी? ब्रह्मा जी को तो मालूम है सब. Why he is glorifying Lord Shiva as the supreme? Because Lord Shiva, he is also avatar of the Lord. He is a Guna avatar. And he is taking the charge of destruction. So in that sense, he is also supreme. So Lord Shiva, he himself understands the situation of Lord Vishnu very clearly. What? Lord Shiva meditates on whom?
Ram.
He meditates on Lord Ram. And in the previous chapter, we heard when Sati and Lord Shiva were discussing, Lord Shiva was telling, please don't go. Sati says, no, 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 I want to go. Shiva says, you will be insulted. You are not invited. Sati says, abhi ghar pe jaane ke liye invitation thodi na lagta hai. He says, no, if the host is insulting the guest, you should not go. Sati says, he will not insult. He's such a learned person. Shiva says, even if he's learned, but because he's proud, he will surely insult you. And then there's a discussion happening between them. And then Sati says, I know that you have some grudge against my father. Tabbir, you are speaking so much. Lord Shiva says, you sit in meditation, you contact your Paramatma in the heart, and you ask Paramatma only. He will clarify what is my thought. Sati says, ठीक है, Arey, why you didn't get up? He said, Shiva says, I was in meditation. So Sati says, at that time only you had to go in meditation. उसी समय तुमको ध्यान में जाना था. So Lord Shiva says, that is not in my hand. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. That is in the hand of Krishna. Whenever he wants, he appears in my heart. So he knows that he is the Vishnu is Supreme Lord. So Lord Brahmaji, he is glorifying Shiva, thinking that way. And Prabhupada explains in detail in various places. In the 8th canto also this comes. In the Samudra Manthan Leela, when all the devatas, they go to Brahma, please drink, they go to Shivji, please drink this poison. There also Brahmaji glorifies Lord Shiva as the Supreme. So it is described in many places and Prabhupada clarifies the situation. We know very clearly, there are 64 prominent qualities of Krishna. Vishnu has 60, Shivji has 55, Brahma has 50. There are 5 qualities which Shivji has, Brahma doesn't have. Sada Swarupa Samprapta, Sarvagya, Nityanutana, Satchidananda Sandranga, Sarva Siddhi Nishevata. These are the 5 qualities which Brahmaji doesn't have. Sada Swarupa Samprapta, he is always situated in his position. He never falls down. Sarvagya, he knows everything. Nityanutana, he is always youthful. Satchidananda, he is also Satchit Ananda like Krishna. Sarva Siddhi Nishevata, he has all the mystic powers. But there are 5 qualities which Vishnu has, which Lord Shiva doesn't have. What are they? Avataravali Bijam Hatari Gatadayakaha. He says, Avichintya Mahashakti Koti Brahmanda Vigraha Avataravali Bijam Hatari Gatadayakaha Atma Rama Gana Karshati. These are the 5 qualities. He has inconceivable powers which Lord Shiva also doesn't have. All the Brahmand comes from Vishnu, not from Shiva. Anyone who is killed by Vishnu gets liberated. Even liberated souls get attracted to Vishnu. So he glorifies in beautiful prayers. Tvameva Bhagavan Netat Shiva Shaktayo Rupayo Vishwam Srijasi Pasyatsi Kridam Urnapato Yatha. You create, you maintain, you destroy this universe just like a spider does it. And then he makes. And he says, actually, you create, maintain, and destroy. So, you only created sacrifice. Why you killed Daksha? Because Daksha was taking care of the sacrifice. If Daksha is dead, who will take care of the sacrifice? And you have created Varnashram. And now you have killed Daksha, who will protect the Brahmanas. And why are you punishing Brahmanas? Because many Brahmanas were also punished. And then he said, anybody who does sinful activity, he'll be punished automatically by karma. You don't have to punish them. Why you have to punish Daksha like that? So, and then he says, actually, I know that you are not angry. So please forgive Daksha. And then after telling all that, he tells, please give them life. And he puts 4 requests. Please revive the incomplete sacrifice of Daksha. Let Daksha get his life back. Pusha gets his teeth back, because Pusha was showing his teeth. So his teeth was knocked out. And Bhaga was making eye movements. So his eyes were plucked out. So he says, please give eyes to Bhaga, teeth to Pusha, and mustache to Bhrigumuni. And all the devtas are injured. Please revive them also. And please take your sacrifice, take your share of sacrifice, and let this sacrifice be completed. So that's how this chapter ends.
So here we are talking of Lord Shiva was within the material universe, not the Sadashiva. Sadashiva is also,
Yeah, so what is the difference?
I don't mind. I heard some difference between Sadashiva and
Sadashiva, all the expansions of Shiva, they come from Sadashiva in the spiritual world. Sadashiva is there in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha also. So Sadashiva is also expansion of, is a avatar of Mahavishnu only. So from him, all the Rudra expansions, they come in this world. So basically they are same. They have same powers as Lord Shiva. They don't die like Brahmaji. Shiram yatha dadi vikara vishesha. Just like the difference between curd and the milk. That's the difference between Vishnu and Lord Shiva.
Shiva resides at Kailash.
Sorry?
Shiva resides at Kailash.
हाँ वो उधर वाले यहाँ पे नहीं अपर कैलाश.
Prabhuji, what's the difference between Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga or Treta Yuga and Kali Yuga? Because there is also violence and kidnapping and everything. So, you say this is the Iron Age, that is the Satyug where
Yeah.
Shiva and Vara Kali.
All the yugas, there are some people who are sinful, some people who are pious, but the proportion goes on increasing. Just like in Satya Yuga, all the 4 legs of religion were intact. But over a period of ages, 1/4 gets decreasing in every age. So Kali Yuga, only 1/4 is remaining of all these Satyam, Shaucham, Shama, Daya. In that also, truthfulness is little more. All the 3 are getting destroyed very, quickly. So these, dharmic and adharmic people are there in all the ages. So, but the proportion keeps increasing. It is said that in Satya Yuga, demons and devatas, they would stay in different planets. In Treta Yuga, in different countries, like Ram and Ravan. In Dwapar Yuga, in the same family, Duryodhan and Pandavas, Kauravas and Pandavas. In Kali Yuga, in the same person, we have a good side and the bad side also. So that's there. So the whole process of Krishna consciousness is to, purify ourselves of our demoniac mentalities, lower nature, all the anarthas, we have to purify them. Hare Krishna. Any questions anybody has?
Probably yesterday somebody asked me in South India there is a temple where Shiva is worshipping, Krishna is worshipping Shiva with a flower. So he asked me greater. I couldn't answer properly, but I gave the example of chariot, Arjuna and Krishna is a driver, all those things. So is there a temple where Krishna is worshipping Shiva?
Maybe, हो सकता है. रामेश्वरम भी वही है ना. Ram is worshipping Lord Shiva there. So Rameshwaram क्या है? Lord Ram worship Lord Shiva there. Ram Ishwar, नाम ही वही है ना. So Lord performs various pastimes. He likes to worship his devotees. Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnu aradhanam param tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. Lord Shiva tells, O Parvati, of all the devatas, worship of Lord Vishnu is the best. But even better than that is worship of the devotees of Vishnu. Tasmat parataram tadiyanam. Tadiya matlab unka साथ में जो उनके भक्त हैं. So Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna likes to serve his devotees. That doesn't mean that, okay, he has become greater. Devotee doesn't feel that I am become greater. मेरी सेवा कर रहे हैं देखो. That is his glory. He is Bhaktavatsal. He is ready to do anything for his devotee. He doesn't care about his reputation also. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Why he tells Arjuna? He could have told himself. Because he knows I am famous for breaking my promises. But if my devotee says it, I will have to follow it. I can never break the words of my devotee. कृष्ण को अपना reputation कुछ पड़ी नहीं. But when devotee says something, he has to do it. So he gives more respect to devotees. And people get confused seeing this. There are various Puranas, there are 18 Puranas, 6 in the mode of goodness, 6 in the passion, 6 in the ignorance. So there are people who are in the mode of goodness, they are attracted to certain scriptures. Those who are in the passion, they are attracted to Rajoguni Puranas. And there are Tamoguni people, they are attracted to Tamoguni Puranas. So in Tamoguni Puran, Lord Shiva is glorified as supreme. In Rajoguni Puran, Indra is glorified as supreme sometimes. Durga may be glorified as supreme. In Sattva-guni Puranas, Vishnu is glorified as supreme. And the best of is Bhagavad Purana. So like that, you will find this in scriptures. Lord Shiva himself tells this description. He is telling to Parvati that there are 6 Puranas. Usme Shiv Puran bhi hai, Tamoguni Puran mein aata hai. Lord Shiva himself tells. He tells what will be the destination of people who read these Puranas and follow this Puran. So all these things are given. Okay. Any online devotees, any questions if they have? Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Bhagavatam ki jai.
Yes. Probably first 6 are Sattva-guni Purana or not really.
फर्स्ट 6 नहीं है बट उसमें नाम दिया है 6 का नाम दिया है. फर्स्ट 6 ऐसा सीक्वेंस वाइज कुछ नहीं है बट नेम्स आर गिवन.